all, I was going to do this when it was actually Disability Book Week, but then I got sick, and inclusion is always important, so you're getting it now. So here's the vision statement from disabilitybookweek.org. Quote, highlighting books that feature characters with disabilities to create a more inclusive literary landscape, one where everyone can see themselves reflected in the stories they read. Through inclusive literature, we can build a world that embraces diversity, encourages empathy, and values the contributions of all. End quote. I really liked this vision, especially since empathy building is one of my very favorite things about literature. Stories let us see the world from others' perspectives, and I think that's very important. You can find a decent number of disability-inclusive books on their website, disabilitybookweek.org, and I'm also going to be giving you some recommendations of my own. If you have any recommendations, I would love to hear those as well. So let's start off with Unseelie by Ivelisse Housman. I think that's how you pronounce her name, but I'm not positive. This story follows Seely, who is an autistic changeling, as she embarks on a quest for lost treasure. The story incorporated Seely's autism very interestingly into the world. There was a note at the beginning talking about a theory that at least many of the supposed changelings from the past were autistic people, which I thought was really interesting and made a lot of sense. If you're not very familiar with what autism is, I think this is a really good place to start, especially if you prefer fantasy to contemporary books. I loaned this to a friend who I'm pretty sure knew very little about autism, and he came back saying that it really helped him understand. This is also one of my favorite books that I read last year, so I really liked it. In A Curse of Golden Beauty by Mary Mecham, one of the main characters, Reese, has rheumatoid arthritis. I loved Reese. He was probably my favorite character out of the story. To be fair, there weren't a lot of characters, but I really liked him. The story overall is a cute Rumpelstiltskin retelling. The concept is basically that Meg, the viewpoint character, is blessed with ridiculous beauty, but the curse that goes along with it is that she cannot disobey her father. I wouldn't say it's my favorite book ever, but I did have a good time, and my sister really liked it. It's really short and sweet, and would probably be good for more hesitant readers. Recommendation number 3 is Percy Jackson and the Olympians by Riordan. Are you surprised? I really, really like these books. Percy, Annabeth, and a whole bunch of other characters have both ADHD and dyslexia. A large theme throughout this series revolves around empathy, so I think this is particularly fitting. The premise is essentially that Greek gods exist, and there's a camp, known as Camp Half-Blood, that provides demigods sanctuary from monsters, and it also helps them learn how to survive in a world where a lot of things want to kill them. The first book is The Lightning Thief, and this is one of my favorite series of all time, so you should definitely check it out if you haven't already. But Everyone Feels This Way, How an Autism Diagnosis Saved My Life by Paige Layle is a nonfiction book talking about autism and Paige's experience with it, because it's a spectrum. It's very different for everyone, for each person. I don't know. Anyways, I don't read a lot of nonfiction books, but this was actually really interesting and engaging. This one does deal with much heavier topics than other books on this list, though, so I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone younger than a teenager, but it was very insightful. In Untethered by KayLynn Flanders, one of the main characters has panic attacks. He's probably my favorite character from the entire series, which is 2 books, but it still counts as a series, right? If you want, it's a sequel to Shielded, so I'm going to give a quick pitch for the first book. If you want more details, I do have a full review on it. I can't give a pitch for the second one because spoilers. Like, a lot of spoilers. So basically, the kingdom of Halandi is in trouble, and Princess Janisara is sent to the neighboring kingdom of Turia to form a marriage alliance. But shenanigans happen along the road, where things end up being much more complicated. It's really fun, and this story made it to my top reads of last year. In The Wingfeather Saga by Andrew Peterson, one of the main characters, whose name is Layle, she has a twisted foot and uses a crutch to walk. The idea of this story is that the main characters, the Iggaby children, live in a place that has been taken over by Nag the Nameless and his fangs, which are essentially lizard monsters. Nag is looking for something called the Jewels of Anira, which the Iggabys supposedly have. There's lots of shenanigans, and it's a really fun story. So that's all for now, at least. If you have any recommendations, I would love to hear them. Until next time, have a good day, stay safe, and remember to drink water.